Ashley, 25K in March on TikTok Shop. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. So again, this is Ashley here. She was one of my mentees in the mentorship. And so I wanted to talk about and, hear from her what her journey has been like on TikTok Shop and how she even got to this point in the first place. So Ashley, if you don't mind, just, briefly introduce yourself, about just what you do and kind of what your life roughly looks like.
Yeah, so I started TikTok in August. I had always had a TikTok account, but then I saw everybody doing this TikTok shop thing and I was like, I think I can do that. So I jumped into it head first and boy, was I right but wrong. I think I got the hang of it pretty quickly, the basics down, but after August, November, September, October, after about 4 or 5 months and I was only getting 2, 3, 4,000, I think was one of my biggest months. I was like, something's not clicking. I'm producing 10 to 15 videos per day per account. And at that point I had 3 accounts. So that's 100 videos a day some days. And I'm like, it's not working. Something's not right. So I've had other mentorships before. I'm a part of different groups. And what they were saying was it was just not working for me. It was working for them. So I was like, what's wrong with me? It has to be me. At first I thought I was not relatable. My hair color was not relatable. My piercings weren't relatable. My tattoos weren't relatable. I literally thought it was me. And I was like, well, if I was just an average white chick with blonde hair, this would work.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. Has nothing to do with me. Me just made $25,000 in a month. And I remember talking to Kade at the beginning of March and I was like, I'm going to hit 6K and it's going to be great. And I think week 1, I was like, I'm at 7K or something like that. What is happening?
Real quick, if you're not making $10,000 plus a month commission every single month on TikTok Shop, you're doing something horribly wrong. So I can help with that. I have a couple students that I take on for mentorship where I help them pick products that are way more likely to go viral, make them a ton of money, help them come up with scripts, marketing angles, and figure out why they're not at $10,000 a month, which if you are a decent affiliate, that's where you should realistically be at. So continue watching this video, but you can apply for that in my bio. I only take on a few people. That's not some fake sales scarcity BS. It's a genuine one-on-one mentorship where you're going to work with me, see all my accounts, see what I'm doing in real time to help you get to $10,000 plus a month every single month consistently. So if you want to learn more about that, click the link in my bio. You can learn some more information, but continue watching this video first.
It's funny you say that. I actually forgot that you said that your goal was 6. I remember when you said that, I was like, we should be aiming a lot higher than that. But just for some context, have you done anything with social media, affiliate marketing, anything like that? Anything somewhat similar before this?
Yeah, so I'm going to get real down and gritty here. I did LuLaRoe, which you are probably too young to know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so it's a clothing company that's like an MLM, all right? But it was all done via Facebook Lives. That's how we sold. So when I was a LuLaRoe consultant, we're talking 7, 8 years ago, that was the start of social media selling clothing online. I was a LuLaRoe consultant for a year and I generated $100,000 in sales, which for a LuLaRoe consultant, that was really good. However, like I said, it was an MLM. So you had to buy the clothes and then sell the clothes and you only got a little piece of the clothing revenue. So a $50 pair of pants, I would maybe see $5. But I would have to buy that $50 pair of pants first. So if I didn't sell that pair of pants, I was screwed. So I was on Facebook Live and I had a full-time job and a new baby. So I was still on Facebook Live every night with my mother-in-law, pumping out these clothes a clothes prostitute. It was insane. I couldn't keep up and it turned me off so bad from social media. I think I lived under a rock for the next 2 years because I was like, this is bad. I hate it.
Yeah, it's a pain.
It's bad. And so I've tried other things It Works. That's a big, I did a ton of MLM. So social media, yes. But something like this, no, I did a little bit of digital marketing, print on demand, but that's a lot of upfront work, not cost, but work. You have to make all the designs and make sure they're not copyrighted designs. And then you have to have a storefront. And then I have to build the clothes online. I have to make them. And then you have to have inventory. Yeah. So I did that for maybe 2 months. Then I was like, no. So I saw people do TikTok shop and I was like, these people are literally just blah, 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 this is a camera or something. And they are making tons of money. And I'm like, that looks not easy, but it looked easier than anything I'd ever tried before.
It's funny. I think everybody that starts, they kind of have that realization. That was me in the very first place. That was how I got started, to a point where I saw somebody that did $30,000 in a month. I was like, you got to be joking. Like, I saw the video. I think everybody there, like, there is no way that people are making this money. And I think most people go through that. So I definitely feel that. But so, like, in terms of like your TikTok shop journey, like, when did you start, and like where were you at, when you initially booked that call to talk about, the program and the mentorship?
Yeah, so I started, like I said, in August, and then when I felt like I just randomly found you scrolling through my FYP. I think I had like followed you before, and you were just like, it was all the dark videos of like,
Oh, yeah.
you guys are doing this completely wrong, and I'm just like, all right, here's another crack hole telling me I'm messing up. What am I messing up today, Kade? And so, but then I found your YouTube channel from a TikTok, and I was like, wait, this dude knows what he's talking about. I was like, he's just so eloquently spoken. It's not like a group that I'm having to go in and there's tens of thousands of other people. It's like him and me. And I've done one-on-one mentorships before, but they weren't bad. I just went with somebody who only did one niche and only knew one niche, and it was not me. So of course I couldn't copy her because I couldn't do her niche. I was not relatable to her niche at all. Your method, it's niche specific, but in a totally different way. Like, you can do any niche this way. So, but yeah, I looked at your YouTube videos and I was like, wait, I can book a call and talk to him before I have to pay a bajillion dollars. Sold. So I literally signed, the day I found your YouTube, I signed up, and I told my husband, and I was like, I signed up, I have a meeting in a couple days. I'm so excited. I was like, I hope he selects me and I can do this because I'm ready. I was ready because it was either TikTok was going to work for me now, or I was dumping it on the side of the road. Yeah,
that makes sense. And I think that for a lot of people, they get in that same boat where it's like, I forget, what was your record month prior to this that you hit? And then I think you said you like took a step down for a while, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I think November was my best month, and I think I made like 4K commissions off of 2 accounts. And then after that, I made like 1K off of 2 accounts. Like, between 2 accounts, I had only made $1,000 commissions, pumping out 20 videos plus a day. I was like, I'm ready to take a dive in. Like, I'm not a millionaire, but the same thing that goes with college. Like, doctors go to college to learn. You have to invest in your education, and that's one thing. If you want to be an entrepreneur, which that is what this is, and I don't think people fully understand that, you are your own boss, you are your own business. Yes, is TikTok its own platform, but you are responsible for you. So you can't dilly-dally. If you just want free samples, then ride the free sample wave, honey. If that is something that you want, then you just do that. That is not what I wanted. I want to leave my 9 to 5. I want to be able to like look at my husband and be like, let's go to Mexico, or like, let's go drive up north or something. Like, I want to be able to do what I want when I want, to a certain extent. Like, it's still work. Like, so I have 2 jobs. I work 40 hours a week, and then I work 20 hours a week at another job. That's 60 hours a week. I have 3 kids. And I now have 6 TikTok accounts, which is a little crazy. Kate's looking at me like I'm insane. And I have 3 of them producing right now. So 3 of them, I'm still in the testing phase, and 3 of them are producing. When before, like, nothing was producing. Like, I'd make $20 a day. Like, my $20 days, I was freaking calling my husband, like, I made $20 today. When I sat my husband down the other night, and when I looked at him, I said, you'll never believe how much I made last month. And he's like, what? And I was like, I made $25,000.
It's absurd.
He was like, you did what? Like, I've been kind of keeping it from him. Like, not like in like a bad way, but in like a, I don't think he'll believe me type. Like, is it real yet? I don't know. But when I looked at the numbers between all my accounts, like, I keep a calendar, like, just because I don't believe it myself. I keep a calendar on my desk, and I write down, oh my gosh, maybe.
Oh my God.
I write down every day how much I made.
Holy crap.
And I have like this bar at the top, and my goal was here, and every day I'm calculating how much I made because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. So I showed my husband, and he was like, I don't understand. That's in 1 month, I made almost what he makes in a year. So he makes like $16 an hour. So that's like what, $35,000 a year? That's something
like that.
Yeah. So I was just like, I made almost what you make in a year in 1 month. He's like, well, whatever that man is telling you, like, just keep doing that.
I think you brought up one specific really good point there. And I see this, from posting TikToks, I see this comment. I think it's really frustrating. I saw for you had the right mindset, but so many people forget that this is a business. They're like, oh, I'm growing this account. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting all this time when you have the opportunity to genuinely make 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. What other business can you, invest a small amount and make 10, 20, 30 full? And then my other question is, so you pay for the mentorship. We had that first call. What were your initial thoughts like after that first call? Because, the way that I do things, the way that I, explain everything in the program and the mentorship is vastly different than I would say 99% of what people did. So after that first call, were you like bought in right away, or were you like, I can kind of see it, but it's just vastly different than what I've ever done before?
So it was vastly different, but it was eye-opening because I was like, everybody is telling everybody to do it one certain way, which is promote. You need to crank out as many videos as you possibly can with as many products as you possibly can, and one of them will eventually hit.
Yeah.
But you were like, no, it's data backed. And when you said that, I work in tech and I work in data, I was like, no, Sherlock. Like that should have been something that I should have just realized immediately. And I almost felt stupid. Like, yo, Ashley, like this is what you do for a living. I live in spreadsheets and data and tech and coding. Literally, that's what I do. So when you were like, it's product research, data research, everything that I do is based on a compiled data set. Let the numbers tell you what to do. Like, take the thinking out of it and let the charts tell you. So when you started saying that, I was like, no, this is the real deal because it makes sense. Like, how do we think companies run their business? If data. They can't run a business unless they have data to say this product is doing well, this product isn't doing well. What am I going to put my marketing spend on this year? What am I going to put my budget on this month? Like, that's how companies run business. We are our own companies. And yes, are there thousands of us? Sure, but probably 2% are doing it right.
Exactly. I would say even less than that probably. But what I like to call it is I feel like 99% of people, they do the HOP method, which I call the hope and pray method.
I like that, the hope and pray. That's what I was doing. I was hoping and praying. I was hoping and praying and doing 50,000 products. And I mean, if I turned my camera around, you would see my sample room. And I literally touch 6 products now out of my sample room, when before I was making 20 videos and they were each different. So I was having to think on the fly of 20 different scripts per account every day. Like, vomit. That just makes me want to vomit now. The fact that I don't have to do that is amazing. Like, every day I wake up, I set my list, and I know exactly what I'm doing every day.
It's a lot mentally easier for sure. And I think that was cool for me to see, you were like, oh my gosh, like, which the fact that you were doing that many videos before this, like with full-time jobs and kids, I still don't understand to this day, but props to you. And as a side note too, for anybody that has excuses that you can't post at least 3 videos a day, there is no excuse. There's no
none. Since I've seen my success, I have so many people in my DMs and on Discord in my DMs like, oh my God, tell me how you do this. And I literally tell them and they're like, I don't have time to do that. And I'm like, well, then I can't help you.
That simple. And then so like we said, when you started, the way that I do things and have gotten my success is vastly different. What was the biggest challenge or challenges for you when you had to, we basically switched the way that you did everything? What were the biggest challenges and hurdles for you to be like, okay, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah, so it was actually terrifying to have to realize that I didn't need to have as many products as I needed. So it was almost scary to only put my trust in one product per account at a time. Because I was like, oh my God, this is, and I have come to you like, oh, I should switch from this product. And you're like, no, you should not. You should hang on to it. And that was one of my top sellers in March. Like, if I would have let go of, I would not be here today. And I was ready to let go of them because I was like, I'm only making $30 a day on it. And I've posted like 40 videos. And you're like, just wait, like the chart hasn't even boomed yet. It still hasn't boomed. Like, when that product booms, I feel like I'm going to pass out because I have a bank of videos and nobody else is doing that. And brands notice your commitment. And I can say that 100% because I got off a phone call today from the owner of that company who gave me,
I didn't even know that.
It was the owner, like the dude himself that created it.
And that's a good bridge. And that's what most people don't understand. Like, I know for myself, and I'm sure you were probably the same way. It's like, you don't really understand how valuable this is until you're like actually doing it, where you're in contact with these brands and then you have all this leverage in the world. And I think you sent me that screenshot. You are the #1 affiliate for, you don't have to mention it if you don't want to. I mean, you kind of already touched it, but you are the #1 affiliate for that product right now.
I'm the #1 affiliate. Yep. And then for, which is the brand that I talked to today, I'm the #2 affiliate. In a month. like there's been people posting products for the last year.
Yeah.
And in 1 month, I outdid all of them. And like I wasn't, so they have a very exclusive Discord, and Kade knows how hard I've been trying to get into that baby.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
finally got into that baby, and then I got in there, and they posted today that I was the top affiliate, and one girl literally said, "Who is this?" Because I haven't even been in. I've been in there for like 4 days. They're like, "Who is this?" Like I've never seen her before. And I'm like, "Well, let me introduce myself. You're welcome." And then they actually private messaged me, and they were just like, "We want to keep working with you. Like, we see how much effort you're putting into this." And everybody keeps asking me from that Discord, like, "What do you do? What do you do? What do you do?" And I'm like, "Y'all," I said, "I don't even think I could help you if you paid me." I was like, "You're not going to want to do," like, my best friend, who has been my best friend since freshman year of high school, and I'm 32 now, so that's lots of years. She is a TikTok Shop affiliate, and I have told her this method free of charge with my love and support. I've written it out. I gave her a product. I gave her scripts. I told her exactly what to do. And she won't even do it. She's like, "I want to post my sourdough video." No, honey, stop it. I said, "Go make another account and post your sourdough videos." I said, "If you want to quit your job, or you don't even have to quit your job if that's terrifying for you, don't, fine.
Yeah.
But if you want this to work as a job, this is not fun. All right? This is not fun, happy, fun time. This is a job. I'm relying on this to support me and my family forever. I don't want to work till I'm 60. I would love to be able to, like, after all my debt's paid, like," so another thing. This is a little, you can't even see it. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Anyway, but this is a sheet of all my debt. I wrote it out, and I literally sat it in front of me. And I have paid off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 credit cards I've paid off in full.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
Just from doing this. And I sat that there, and I was like, I'm going to pay off every one of those debts in the next 2 months. That's my goal. My goal is to be debt free so that I can just chuck money into an investment account. And so that when I'm 50, I'm going to be riding on a yacht, and y'all are going to be wondering where you were. Going to be wondering why you weren't invited.
Quote that.
Like, well, I told that to the Hustle Butter guy today. I was like, "You'll see me on my yacht next year, and you can come along." And he's like, "That." He was like, "I'll be there with you." He's
That's
like,
awesome.
"I'll champagne." He's a really cool guy. But yeah, I mean, like, I want this to work for me. So in order for it to work for me, you have to invest in yourself. Anybody, I mean, you don't have to, all right? Like, you can go out into the interwebs and find this information for quote unquote free, but you're going to spend months compiling it all together and figuring it out for yourself, which is fine. If I didn't want to do that, I wanted somebody to be like, "Here's my hand, take it, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and it's going to work."
Yeah.
That's what I wanted, because I wanted instant success. If you want instant success, then you need to invest in yourself, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know that you said, I remember it was somewhere in the beginning of the month that we already talked about where your goal was like 6K. It's like, but before that was like, what were your expectations? Like, what preconceived notions did you have, like, in terms of like, what did you think that your ceiling was on TikTok? Did you ever picture yourself getting to this point ever? And was it just surprising how quick you got there in the first place?
Never thought that I would ever make $25,000. Like, I told my mom today, I've been keeping her in the dark, and she was like, "I was sitting down and I almost fell off the couch."
Oh my God.
Like, she asked me, she's like, "Can you get your brother into this?" And I'm like, "I can, but he's lazy, so I don't think he's gonna do that." I mean, he's like 22-year-old dudes that still live at home. I love you, brother, if you ever see this. Love you to pieces, but Mom's still doing your laundry, so I don't think you got it. I don't think you cut out for it. But if you want to learn, I'll teach you. But no, I thought like when you were telling me 10K, I was like, that's so untangible. It's not possible. And yes, mindset is a huge thing, but I'm a really big believer in data. So I needed the numbers to tell me that it was tangible. Once I hit like 5K that first week, I was like, it's only week 1. I still have 3 weeks to go.
Yeah.
If I have another 5K week next week, that's 10K.
Absolutely.
I was like, shut up right now. Like, I was in shock. I mean, I'm still in shock. Like, when I cash out every night and that money goes into my bank account, when I check my bank account now, I'm shook. I'm just shook all the time. When I go pay off a credit card, I'm in utter that something that is simple, a lot of work, but the basis of it is simple. You have to still work for it, but the structure is simple. I'm going to say simple 20,000 times. But once you do the work and you put it into it, the gratification, the reward, the fruits of your labor are just, there's no other job that can do this, period. Unless you're like, I don't even know if Wall Street, I don't honestly know anything about Wall Street, but selling stocks and bonds or something, I have no idea. But there's no other job that I know of that's going to give you this type of income this quickly if you put in the work.
And I think, that's something that most people forget. They think, oh, I just, post my 3 videos and that's it. But I think this is, I know I said this to you multiple times. It's just like you slowly start to raise your expectations. Now, most importantly, you have a repeatable system. I think that's the most important part. That's why I call this whole thing I actually changed the name down to the consistent creator formula. Because what's the point of hitting a 25K month if you don't have the infrastructure and the understanding if you're going to go back to 3-4K? So I think, the biggest thing for you, that my personal opinion is, raise that ceiling now, expect minimum. I think you're at a point where you can expect minimum $15,000.
That is my goal for this month. I wrote it down, goal 15K. That Absolutely. Is my goal.
Awesome.
So if I make 15K, I mean, honestly, if I make 10K consistently a month, I can quit my job.
Raise those expectations.
So that's why I made it 15K. I went out on a limb. I added an extra 5. But anything over 10, the fact that I could quit my job and not be tied down to a 9 to 5, to an hourly thing, that I could know that I can go to all my kids' events. Like I said, I have 3 kids. I don't have any time to go to any sporting events, any musical thing. I've missed so much of my kids' lives, it's not even funny. And I don't want that. I want them to know that I'm present. I mean, they know how hard I work, and they know that's why they were just able to go on vacation, and there was no such thing as no. Mom didn't say no the whole entire vacation. My daughter went, she goes, "Can I have a pair of those pit vipers? From the freaking 90s? And I'm like, sure. I go to ring them up, and they're $120. And she looked at me like, Mom's going to say no. And I was like, no, bag them up. And she looked at me like, she was shocked. And now she goes to school with her cool pit vipers, thinking she's the coolest thing. I think they're the ugliest things known to mankind, but that's okay. She thinks they're awesome. But I want to be able to give my kids that life. Not that my life was hard by any means. My parents were, pretty well off. We went on vacations and we did things, but there was a limit. I couldn't go out and not that I want to teach my kids how to be spoiled, but I want them to know that there's a world out there. I want to travel. I want to take my kids around the world. There's so much that this world has to offer, but a 9 to 5 won't let you do that. PTO won't let you do that. All right? Your job's eventually going to fire you if you take a month off.
Yeah.
There's no job, and you can do this anywhere. All right? You bring the product. I did it on vacation. I took a suitcase. I brought my 6 items because that's all I had to take. Put them in my suitcase. And I did content. I did content by the pool, by the beach, everywhere. So, and it's awesome. The fact that I could take 1 hour to 2 hours a day while I was on vacation, post my content and still make sales. Or, one day I actually skipped. Bad, naughty Ashley. But I was like, you know what? If this one day means I make $1,000 less next month, I'm going to spend it with my kids. $24,000 won't be that bad. So I there are some days where I only posted 1 to 2 videos. But the fact that that when you come back, you have a system in place and you can crank it out. That's what the fact that there's reliability in the system.
Yeah, especially for if you like me and you're aiming to if you want to do it full time, it's you have to have that consistent, predictable system. Again, I call it a system because that's really what it is. Understanding the data. But one final question here: if anyone is on the fence about this, honest thoughts, honest opinions, what would you say to them? They're like, I haven't had the success that I want, or I've had some success and I haven't been able to maintain that. What would you say to someone in general?
Yeah, so you need to have a heart-to-heart with yourself. Do you want this to work? Yes. Okay. Answer question number 1. Are you willing to listen and not think it's BS and actually take what Kade has to say as truth? Because everything he can say is proven by data. All right? Everything that he says is proven by data. So, can you listen? Because I'm hard-headed. So, the fact that I was like, you know what? I'm not the smartest person in the room, for once. Let me take a step back. Let me listen. Can you do that? Yes? All right. And if you want this to be reliable, you want this to be a career, this is not fun. You need to take fun out of it. If you want a fun TikTok page, then go create a fun TikTok page and have fun over there. But if you want some TikTok pages that are not fun, that are reliable, that are going to be data-driven, income-based, etc., if that's what you truly want, then you just have to do it. Or you're going to spend 6 months, like I said, researching it yourself. And I also researched it myself. I watched so many YouTube videos and so many different people saying so many different things. This would be the 3rd one-on-one coaching that I did. The 3rd.
Oh, really?
So that's 4 or 5K that I invested in myself already. And I've joined 3 to 4 groups, which were also money. but they're less expensive. They were probably $300 a piece. So we're at like what, 6 to 8K in investing in myself. And my biggest month before that was 4K. So I took money out of my pocket and invested it in myself. If you're not willing to do that and you're like, I don't have the money, and I get it, times are tough. Like I said, I have 3 freaking kids. Okay, but the mentorship paid for itself within 2 to 3 weeks. Because the first 2 weeks, you're really getting like the gist of it down. Like you're starting to understand how it works, then you figure out products, and then you hit the ground running. So within the first 3 weeks, I got my money back tenfold. Yeah. So there is no risk. If you're on the fence, there is no risk. There's only reward. So just do it. If this is something you truly want to do as a job, you just have to take the dive and do it. Because I've done everything. Like I said, I'm still in a ton of different groups. Like I just went on a trip with one of the groups that I'm in, and I'm sitting there in the corner like, I don't do anything that they're teaching. And I felt like such the outlier, but I was surrounded by a ton of people who just were not seeing success, and they were wondering why. And I love those women that I were with. Like they're some of my best friends. But some methods don't work for anybody. I would say that the product swapping and the switching things up and finding only works for a very minuscule amount. Minuscule. Like probably, let's say there's 1,000 TikTok shop creators. I would say 3 of them it works for. So if you want a system that's proven that is going to work and you're not hoping and praying, I love TikTok shop now. I hated it before. It was grueling. I was miserable. I literally cried all the time. Like I am putting so much effort, so much my blood, sweat, and tears, and it is not working. What am I doing wrong? And now I wake up every morning and I'm so grateful. And I text Kate all the time and I'm like, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. And it's just like, I can't believe where I'm at now. So if you want this to truly work and you are on the fence, just do it.
I'll give one final note here. I will say, Ashley specifically, she took everything that I've said and like she already touched on, she implemented it right away. And from my perspective, you took everything and ran with it, trusted it, and executed it to perfection, right? Because you can put yourself in the right position, but at the end of the day, there still has to be execution. You executed it perfectly. Again, out of everybody that I've worked with thus far, your execution has been the best, and the results show that execution being in place. And most importantly, you still put the work in yourself. You worked hard and you're reaping the benefits of that hard work, because again, we can put you in the right spot, but you still have to have the input on your end. I'll do everything in my power to help you succeed. But at the end of the day, you executed very, very well, and you're reaping the rewards of it, and will continue to do that for a long time. So
yeah, and I'll just say one more thing to kind of piggyback off of that. You have to listen. If you are going to invest in yourself, you have to listen and you have to just do it. If you have no intention of doing it, or it's like when somebody gives you the exact roadmap to get to the treasure. If you go off course, you're a dumbass. Don't know if I could say that on YouTube. Just stop doing your own thing and thinking that you're better. You're not. You need to come to reality, baby. You're not better, and it's okay. The fact that you're not doing good is okay. That's just because you were taught wrong. So somebody's going to teach you right. Just listen to them. Just listen to them.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ashley. I think it's in the picture, to break that in the coming months. You'll be surprised at how well you can piggyback off of your previous month. So thank you for doing that. And for anybody watching, take what she said, rewatch it, because she said a lot of good things. And I think it's proof in the pudding that, when you have the right system, when you execute to perfection, you put the hard work in, you stop making excuses, because it's a business at the end of the day, it becomes difficult to not get the results that you want. So cool. Thank you guys. See ya.